The Leica D-Lux 8 is the 8th generation in the Leica D-Lux family, hence the 8. Well, and the Leica, and the D-Lux. The camera offers a simplified design, easy to use controls, along with ergonomic handling for a more user-friendly experience, while still delivering the same outstanding quality that you would expect from a camera embossed with the Leica name. You join me here in the rugged wastelands of Cirencester, where I intend to explore this urban jungle and put the D-Lux 8 through its paces. But will I survive? Yes, I've clearly edited the video that you're watching, so it couldn't have been that bad, could it? I suppose I should have built up the tension a bit there, really, let it go through the video, but I'm just keeping it real. But before I go out there and put my life on the line, let's go through some of the key features of this camera. At the heart of the camera, we have a 21 megapixel CMOS sensor. However, the lens itself only covers 17 megapixels, making it the same as the D-Lux 7. This is, however, the first Leica D-Lux to feature the DNG format. It features a simplified design inspired by their Q line of cameras for a more user-friendly experience, allowing you to concentrate on the one thing that we all want from a camera: photography. The menu has been minimised, leaving only the essential functions and settings, while the button layout on the back of the camera has received the same treatment and left us with just the play, menu, navigation wheel and 2 function buttons. You still have the shutter wheel on the top of the camera along with the aperture ring on the lens itself, so you still get that hands-on tactile experience. Speaking of the lens, it's the same one that we had on the D-Lux 7, the fast Leica DC Vario Summilux 10.9 to 34 f1.7 to 2.8 ASPH lens. And as this is mounted on a micro four thirds sensor, that actually gives us a focal range of around 24 to 70 millimeters, which is incredibly versatile for this kind of camera. We're going to be going out and doing some street photography in a moment, and this is going to be, well, it's just going to make it so much easier for me. Other noteworthy features include a brighter 3-inch 1.84 million dot display, an improved high-res real-time 2.4 million dot OLED EVF, the same leatherette covering as the Q3, and also offers seamless connectivity to the Leica Photos app for easy sharing and editing. Last but by no means least, you also get a compact flash, which I've actually got in the bag at the moment, that comes along with it, so you've got even more versatility while out shooting. I think that covers all of the key specs for now, so let's get out into this rugged wasteland known as Cirencester and see what it can do. I hope I make it back. We've already established that. I've done that joke already. Now, the whole point of this camera is its compact nature. I guess in terms of competition, it's going up against stuff like the Ricoh GR cameras, as well as Fujifilm's inconsiderate helicopter pilots. But yeah, its competition, I guess, would be the Ricoh GR cameras, as well as the Fujifilm X100 series, for that compact street photography kind of a camera, although it does have a lot more uses than that. The versatility you got with this lens is going to help out a lot. I had other things to say. We've got the cathedral here, so I thought this would be a nice little test to check out the actual focal length of this lens. Let's see what we're dealing with. Okay, so here we are at 24 millimeters, and let's zoom right into 75. I think that's a pretty decent zoom length to be dealing with. A lot of people might be wondering whether 17 megapixels is enough in this day and age. I would say that it is, if you consider that you only need 10 to 12 megapixels to print out a 24 to 36 inch print. Plus you have the 24-70 lens to be able to zoom in onto your subject that much easier before editing. That should eliminate the need for a lot of cropping when you actually get into post-processing. So yeah, I think 17 megapixels is more than enough.
Okay, see what sort of detail we can get in these. Oh, it's hunting a bit. Helps if I have the focus point in the right place. That does help, doesn't it? That is a lot easier. There you go. Tip for the day, people. Have the focus point in the right place. You get that green one in shot?
Obviously, this sort of photography isn't exactly what it's designed for, but this is a camera that you can take with you anywhere. So I figured I might as well just get shots as I'm going around. Something else that I've just noticed as well, which I didn't originally. So as you're looking through the viewfinder, you can actually adjust the focus point quite easily on the back of the screen while you've got it up there, which makes it that much easier to get into shot. And it also explains why it kept moving all the time without me realizing. I really should do a bit of research before I come out more often. Another very useful feature that you've got on here, you can actually change the aspect ratio manually on the lens. Just by the aperture ring on the lens, you can select the aspect ratio easily enough. So that's a nice little touch as well. Just helps you dial things in pretty quickly. Okay, so just about to head into the town itself. But before I do, I'll take a couple of images of these monks here, see what we're dealing with. Just a couple of dudes hanging out. Change that focus point easily. Okay, so I just come to the back of the cathedral, chilling out with these wonderful tones, probably here in the background. Who am I kidding? I'm just trying to put off the inevitable. I've got to go into the streets now. Capture what I can. Wish me luck, people. It's going to be a tough one. Got to get a shot of a door handle, otherwise it ain't a day out for me. Before I finally ventured out onto the mean streets of Ciren, I sought refuge in the church to atone for my sins. I figured I could do with all the help I could get on this excursion. The D-Lux 8 is perfect for street photography and candid shots, so I was delighted to discover that the church was full of people. The focal range really helped me out here, as I was able to get a couple of images without being too intrusive. Not only that, the D-Lux 8 was completely silent, so that further aided in me not drawing too much attention to myself. Or at least as little attention as a large tattooed bearded man can achieve in the confines of a church. But now it was time to face the streets of Cirencester. Here we go. Bit of street photography, got the market here. Once again, the 24 to 75mm focal range was perfect for remaining at a distance while still being able to obtain intimate shots. You'll notice that I've applied a monochrome edit to these images in a desperate bid to make them appear more arty. I think it's worth pointing out how much I regret not buying one of those burgers. They looked and smelled amazing. I did get a nice smile though, so still a win. See what sort of detail we can get. I don't actually know what the close focus distance of this lens is. I still don't know the minimum focus distance of the lens, but it allowed me to get close enough for more detailed images, while the fast 1.7 to 2.8 aperture range allowed for some impressive depth of field shots, whether using the wide angle or zoomed in. Speaking of the wide angle, the 24mm end of the lens is just right for capturing landscapes and architecture. This camera really is an ideal choice for everyday use. One thing that really does have to be said, the focal range is very useful. I'm not a big fan of doing street photography at all. I find it very uncomfortable, as you've probably seen in some of the images I've just taken. But this does make it that much easier to just walk around, try and get a few shots without being too obvious. And it's very compact lens as well, so you don't really notice it too much, so pretty good. So I lost track of time a bit there, and I've had to get back to my car before my ticket runs out. And I'm kind of debating whether to go somewhere else or not, because I kind of feel like I've got everything. The whole point of this camera is its simplicity, its compact nature, and, well, I was going to say simplicity again, but I suppose that just reinforces it, doesn't it? Yeah, this thing is just a great camera to take with you wherever you go. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to go somewhere else on the way back home, or if I'm just going to do a conclusion when I get back, but I guess you'll see. I mean, this is pointless. This is pointless. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I obviously didn't bother doing anything on the way back because I couldn't really think of anything else I needed to add to it. This camera does everything that you need it to incredibly well. In many ways, this is actually one of the easiest reviews I've ever had to do for a camera, because the simplicity of the camera is the whole point of it. You just go out, you use it, that's it. And I had a lot of fun with it. It's a fantastic piece of kit. The focal length of the lens is absolutely spot on for those 24mm wide angle scenes right up to the 75mm stuff. It allows you to just get up close and personal without being up close and personal, especially for the street photography stuff. I always struggle with that sort of thing, and this made it that much easier. It's quite unobtrusive looking as well, which is fantastic. The 17 megapixels on offer were not an issue for me whatsoever. I've already had a chance to go back and have a look at some of the images on the laptop, and they were all fine. I was very happy with what I got. It is so light and compact that you barely even notice that you've got it on with you. on with you, you barely even notice that you've got it on you. It's ridiculously light. I'm not sure how light it is actually. I should find that out. I was actually more aware of the GoPro mounted on top of it than I was the actual camera itself. So yeah, incredible piece of kit just to have in your pocket and just to carry around with you anywhere. They always say that the best camera is the one that you have with you. This certainly fits the bill. The EVF was fantastic, and it's so easy to dial in all of your settings. You've got the aperture ring on the lens, you've also got the aspect ratio on the lens, as well as the shutter speed. The fact that you've got this very simplified menu, I think it's like 4 screens altogether. It just simplifies everything. You don't have to really think too much about anything. You just do it all manually like you used to. Remember those days? I don't. I've always used digital. And the price point is pretty spot on as well. The only thing I did find a little bit of an issue with, I mentioned earlier on how you could change the focus point on the back of the screen while you're through the EVF. I did notice a few times I kind of knocked it and it kind of bounced back. But I'm sure that's something that you can turn off in the settings. I didn't bother, but other than that, absolute fantastic piece of kit. Yeah, I don't really have a great deal else to say because it just does everything that you want it to. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a great camera to go out and do photography with. Buy one. A perfect camera to just walk around with or to have as a secondary. It just does everything so well. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic camera. Well, I don't really have any more to add. If you do require more information about the D-Lux 8, make sure that you click the link in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you did like the video, drop a like because it really helps to boost the channel. Until next time, I'll see you then. There'll be more stuff, I'm sure. I hope so. It's my job.